Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. I was seeing some news on Rosanne Barr and some very interesting takes that she's had recently for entertainment purposes only. She was commenting that her family was in Ukraine, and that during World War II, family members were marched out to the woods and buried alive, and that there's lots of Nazis in Ukraine. And then she seemed to imply that even though Piers Morgan was saying that Zelensky's a Jew, and he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't support Nazism, which is the whole reason why Russia claims they're in there. And Rosanne Barr is losing her mind because just because he's Jewish doesn't mean he supports Jewish people. And she's right. Just because somebody is of an ethnic group doesn't mean they support that ethnic group. However, there's no indication that that's the case with Zelensky. She then goes on about censorship and how the media only gives you one side of the story and they're lying to you, and she wants to wake people up and have them do their own research. Yeah, about that. There's truth and there's fiction. And some media sites are more truthful, and some media sites perpetuate a lot of fiction, and you can't treat them equally. Just saying. She was also on a podcast where she was talking about censorship again, and she is basically an election denier. She's hammering on some point like 35 counties accounted for 85 million people, and somehow Biden won the election with just 35 counties supporting him. Well, yeah, LA County's got 10 million people in it. How many podunk counties do you need to equal 10 million people that are in LA? Yeah, you can win 100 counties that have 100 people in them, and you get 10,000 votes. Big deal. If one county has 100,000 people in it, and you win 40 to 60, that's 20,000 votes. You can win those other counties outright. But then she was comparing it. It's like, the media tells you, like YouTube tells you what you can say. So you can't deny the election or else YouTube will cancel you. And then she tries to compare that with the Holocaust, saying, oh, nobody died in the Holocaust. She was being sarcastic. That, if you deny the Holocaust, you would be canceled. And if you deny the election, you'll be canceled. But it's like, they're not the same thing. The Holocaust happened. That's factually accurate. Biden won the election. That's factually accurate. You get warned and banned when you are perpetuating falsehoods, propaganda. And she, in her mind, she cannot make that connection. Woman is seriously off her meds. I understand she's a comedian, and comedians can say things to get a rise out of people and such. But right now, her logical circuits are frayed. And I seriously think she is off her meds, or she needs new meds for entertainment purposes only. So, Rosanne, you get the reading treatment. You're a public figure. You're out there saying crazy ass shit. Come on down, girl. Let's see what you got going on. Spirit, can you tell us what's going on with Rosanne Barr? Why is this woman so angry and just spewing stuff? Oh, by she's a COVID denier too. Okay, Queen of Pentacles. Somebody's not taking care of themselves. Queen of Pentacles is usually about finding useful things, finding a use for things. She has a pulpit to expand on things of value. So she's expanding on things of value. But again, there's a delusion here as to what she thinks. Everything she thinks is correct, valuable, and 100% correct, or mostly correct. And she's not seeing that there's two sides to that coin, that she's not correct on everything. And just because you agree that there shouldn't be censorship about the election doesn't mean that there shouldn't be censorship on the Holocaust. They're two different things, other than you should not censor the truth, but you should censor people who are perpetuating falsehoods. Death. Okay. Well, we'll see how these cards come out. Rosanne, I think, is at her end of relevancy, basically. Maybe in some ways she's saying crazy stuff like this because she doesn't have a plan forward. She doesn't have a way to stay relevant and she's trying to stay relevant. But I think also maybe she thinks this is the end of society. I don't know, but this is an interesting death card. We'll see how things pan out. What do we have? Justice card. She better be careful. She better be careful on stuff she's saying. She could be sued. She could be held to account for things. Maybe she thinks it's an injustice. The censorship's an injustice. We'll find out. In the past, we've got the Three of Pentacles. She was a stand-up comedian, doing work for people, and had TV shows and all sorts of stuff. But she started getting herself in trouble for saying offensive things. And, it got her booted off her shows. She lost advertisers. And I think she just feels like you should be able to say anything you want whenever you want. And there should be no repercussions for it. And that's not how life works. So I think she thinks this is the end of freedom and freedom of speech. It really isn't. It's the end of saying anything that you want to and thinking there isn't a consequence for it. Wheel of Fortune, and that's where this Justice card comes in. This is the consequence card. You can say stuff, but defamation suits are now on the rise. And you better be really careful about who you're defaming, again, for entertainment purposes only. Current situation, Wheel of Fortune. I think karma's coming right back on her. Stuff that she has said in the past is coming back and biting her. Now, here's an ironic thing. I listened to, when she was talking about the Biden counties, she then went on to say, the internet tells you what you can say. And, there was no Holocaust. Nobody died. 6 million Jews should die. When you read it on paper, it sounds horrific. If you watch the actual video, she's clearly being sarcastic. It's really obvious she's being sarcastic. Now, the words, again, when you read them, they look horrific. It's like, why would you say that? But I get the point she's trying to make, that when Big Brother tells you what to say, you have to repeat it. The problem is that she thinks Big Brother or big media dictates everything you should hear. And there's some truth to that, but it's not 100% true. The part she's missing is that you can't spread falsehoods. You can spread the truth. You can't spread falsehoods, because if you spread falsehoods, this card starts coming into play, and we see it happening more and more. Fox News and Smartmatic, Fox News and Dominion, Fox is under other lawsuits for things like that. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, Donald Trump and E. Jean Carroll. Defamation is now kind of a thing where you can't just trash on people and get away with it. What you've said in the past has consequences. Sometimes it takes a while for those consequences to come around, but they do come around. And as they say, this is karma, and we all know what karma is. It's the same thing as Roseanne, right? Okay, so overarching on this, again, as we get another major arcana, is the Magician card. And this is the part I was talking about that she's not getting. It's one thing to manifest the truth. It's another thing to perpetuate an illusion. You have to know the difference. And just because she believes the election's stolen doesn't mean it's true. And if you look at the data, and if she did do her own research and she went to actual sites that are valuable and actually report facts, reputable sites, she'd find out that, all the lawsuits of Rudy Giuliani and Donald Trump about the stolen election, it's all a bunch of crap. It's all illusion. But she's convinced it's real. So in her mind, if the media censors you over election denialism, well, that's just horrific media censorship. She's not getting it. She's missing this part right here. And she needs to figure this one out big time before she gets herself into a whole lot of trouble. Lesson to be learned, it's working. And she's talking about people doing the research. Right back at you, hun. Maybe you should do your research. But here's the thing. This is an apprentice who's doing the work, doing the same work over and over again. It's to get mastery. Okay? Mastery. You don't become a master by doing something half-baked every time you do it. You have to try for perfection every time you do it. And you keep trying for perfection so that you start minimizing more and more mistakes. And even little mistakes get minimized because when you're trying to be a perfectionist, little mistakes are still mistakes. And she's not doing that work. She's sloppy. She's incredibly sloppy with her work. And again, this can come back and bite her. And she comes across as a fool for doing that. She's not blazing a new trail of anti-censorship. She is foolishly walking into karma via the Justice Department or via justice. She is going to put herself in a situation where she is going to be sued for defamation or something along those lines, and she's going to be held accountable for it. She's not going to like it. She thinks, again, that death card there, that death card is, to her, the death of free speech. It's the death of being able to, as she was using a description of satire, and how satire is lost on some people. Well, no, it's not. Satire is not lost on a lot of people, but you have to be in the same universe. How many people here know The Onion? You know, that's a satirical publication. They used to make up the funniest, wildest stories. But here's the thing. When Donald Trump came on, they would try and do some satirical posts on Donald Trump, and they were actually more accurate with their satirical posts than any legitimate news source was. You know, they talked about Trump supporters basically going to ride, I've been supporting him so far, I'm going to ride that wave all the way to the shore. You know, that was supposed to be satirical, but it absolutely nailed the MAGA identity mindset that people have. You know, it was always funny because like Iran or some countries would read The Onion and then they would take those stories to say how America is this horrible place because look what they're doing. And it's like, that's from The Onion, guys. That's a satirical thing. It's made up. It's supposed to be outrageous. And the more outrageous, the funnier it got. Unfortunately, during the Trump administration, their outrage became reality. It's almost like somebody had a wish, wasted a wish on a monkey's paw saying they wished that the everything that happened in the Onion became true. And we lived it for 4 years. Jiminy Christmas. Okay. What do I want to follow up on this? Why is Rosanne so angry? Why is she so... Well, I guess we know. But is more to the point, is Rosanne at risk of being defamed? Oh, there's the Page of Cups. She's crazy. Entertainment purpose only. She's a couple of crayons short of a full box. Let's see, what's going on with Rosanne? Can you give us any more insight on Rosanne? Strength. I think she's trying to project strength. Ace of Cups, though, but she's overly emotional. I think she's trying to keep it together, but I know she has mental health issues, and it's spilling over big time on her. She's living in the past. She's being really, really naive. Again, I think it's a mental health issue. She's not understanding how she's coming across, or she's not caring how she comes across because she thinks she's right, but she's not. And it's really going to, in the world of cancel culture, it's really going to bring an end to her career and stuff like that because nobody's going to want anything to do with her. And it's going to be a rather harsh thing. She's just getting more and more fringe. Basically, do not expect her to be, welcomed in polite circles, shall we say, because she's becoming more and more unhinged. And she really needs to get back. She really needs to rethink things. I don't know who can intervene for her, but she's out of her lane. And I'm sad for that, but that's what it is. And she's loud and she's proud and she will bear the consequences of the things that she says. And I'm not one to get in the way of somebody's lessons that they need to learn in this lifetime. If that's what needs to happen, that's what needs to happen. Seems to me a real destructive way of doing it, but it's not my life, it's hers. She's got free will. She gets to make her choices. She gets all the benefits, and she gets all the consequences. Thank you for watching this video. I'll catch you on the next one.